and we are Velocities in Music, VIMTV. We're going to review LYF's first album, debut album. Lots of buzz around this band, LYF. The album's called Go Tell Fire to the Mountain, which I think would sound, that just to me sounds like a Spencer Krug album.
Oh.
It just does, you know.
It kind of does.
Dragon Slayer and then Go Tell Fire to the Mountain. Actually, this is LYF. LYF is a band, they're from, I think, Manchester, UK. They got that British sound down in that mood, that aesthetic down that's popular over there right now. So if you're a British VIMTV fan from the UK, go you. Thanks for watching. And this band has a lot of buzz, a lot of allure around them because they've released, first of all, LYF is an acronym, you know, the two words, Woo and then Life. It's an acronym for World Unite Lucifer Youth Foundation, which is just kind of interesting in itself.
Yeah.
Then, this band has almost nothing on the internet about it. You can't find hardly anything. They refuse to do interviews. You don't know who these guys are, and all of a sudden, here's this album, and it just has created this buzz. And the albums are getting good. And the album's getting good scores, and I'm going to challenge that because how much I think, and one of the challenges in reviewing music that Tom and I have identified, other video reviewers I know that we're friends with have identified this, and I think other music reviewers out there feel this way in general, but there is an element to reviewing music where you have to separate the idea or the concept or the allure of an artist from the music itself. And it's what's the percentage ratio between the two? What are you grading? And I love the idea of that, but really Tom and I take a very strong stance at VIMTV that we grade the album. The album, that's it. Not 4 tracks off the album, not the live show, not the discography, not the artist, not who the artist had sex with last night. We don't give a shit about any of that stuff. We literally care only about the album we are reviewing and how it compares to other albums coming out right now in this general scheme of a few years, give or plus or take 5. That's how we grade things. And in this case, I was unimpressed with this album, and here's why. What you have here is that this moody, the vocals here, first of all, I want to get this out of the way. The vocals, I feel like, sound a lot like early Kings of Leon, which is a good thing for me. That's a good thing. And Kings of Leon are huge in the UK. Huge. So it's not surprising to me that occurred. And then at first I thought it was the whole sound. It's really just the vocals. I want to get that out there. What starts is, almost every track on this album starts with either a kind of a minor keyed or down moody kind of guitar or
Hammond organ. Yeah. The organ is like ever present here, all over the place.
And one piece of info we do know about this album is it was recorded in a church.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the organ actually works quite well. It's very airy sounding. I think this album was also recorded live. They recorded these songs live, which reflects the production. I'll get to that in a minute. But you know, you have this guitar organ start, then the song increases in intensity, the drums come in, the vocals come in, and it builds up, and then it kind of just they go away from it. So you have this big mountain structure we've gotten to this before. This one's not quite as annoying as verse, chorus, beaver, chorus. It's not quite that bad. But when you do any sort of formula or structure over and over again for 10 tracks or 12 tracks or however many tracks your album is, it gets stale. You have to find ways on an album to break things up and keep things interesting, and I don't feel like LYF do that here. They present a very good sound, a great mood palette. The sound is addictive, and if you were to take any one of these songs and listen to it in a mix of any other song, you're going to love it because
it's going to stick out.
That's right. That's right. It's just that when you put them all together, they work against each other. They dilute each other. It's a lot like Jack Johnson's entire discography. And that's just kind of my personal feelings about this album. Tom, did you have anything that you really thought that, you know, was against my criticisms?
I think you're absolutely right about most of that, yeah. The instrumentals, you know, you talked about the vocals being kind of Kings of Leon-ish. I would call a lot of the instrumentals as kind of Modest Mouses or Wolf Parade.
Yes, Wolf Parade. I'm glad you said that.
And mostly in the guitars. But then, you know, you have some cool moving bass lines in here. But yeah, there just is that repetition from song to song. I think that this is a classic case where people are getting more excited about the freshness and the energy and the sound than the actual songwriting.
Which it has a lot of that too.
Yeah, it does. But if you don't have really catchy, really, you know, high quality, memorable songwriting in there to boost that sound up and make them work together, then really all you have the icing and no cake.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed about this set of 10 tracks is almost all these songs sound to me like they're in the same key. And you got to do a little bit better than that. And similar time signatures, maybe different tempos song to song, but very, very similar structured and designed songs. These are designed. And because they recorded these songs live, I feel like the production is all kind of the same too, which normally I like, but the problem is that these songs are craving any sort of change or variety. They need life breathed into them. So
that's just another aspect where it just
where normally that would be a good thing because it's this nice, clean live production that enhances what their strengths are, but it actually kind of makes it just, it's one more thing to add to the pile of, oh, this is just boring, monotonous over and over again. And rather to keep doing it in our review, let's move on. And I really feel like they could have just added some life to it, but the mood, lyrics, I'm good with all that.
Now, I think the thing for me that's going to make me give this a little higher score than you is just I really did enjoy listening to it. There was something, and it's slightly hypocritical because I just knocked, people for this, but at the same time, I still am going to give a considerably lower score than most people have been giving this. But just it's kind of like objectively, I could look at it and say and pick it out and say, this is just kind of and yeah, it's mostly about the energy and the sound, but still, I found it fun to listen to. I found it kind of engaging, but not that much. I wasn't overly impressed. I'm more just saying that so you understand why I'm giving it a little higher score than this guy.
Yeah, and I think in general, I get more frustrated from repetition, extreme repetition than Tom does.
That's exactly it.
And that's just where I'm at. I'm feeling a 55 on this one.
I'm going 64.
So that puts this thing right at a 60. That's at the cusp of being a little too bad to recommend, but still something that, this one, I'd probably go ahead and say, you want to check this one out, just because it's getting a lot of buzz. A lot of people really like this one. So you might actually disagree with VIMTV on this one, which is totally cool, and that's what we want. We want you guys to listen to these albums for yourself. That's very important. We just want to give you our feedback, so try to get some sort of musical discussion going on. That being said, go to www.velocitiesmusic.com, leave us a comment, or youtube.com/velocitiesmusic. We'd love to start talking to you guys about this album in particular. Please keep the comments respectful. You can disagree with us, but don't call us names, don't swear. We're obligated to not honor your comment on our boards if you do that. Just FYI, don't do that. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and do all that stuff. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.